Update. My fiancé randomly ended our relationship. Is this abuse? Original post. We live in Toronto, Ontario. My 28 male, fiancé 28 female, has always been very controlling. She gets upset when I don't do things exactly right and often contradicts herself. She wants me to go out and be more social, but will call and yell at me when I do. She wants me off my phone but sits there on hers. She wants me to go to the gym but complains when I'm there too long. Honestly, I've been pretty love-struck, so I didn't really pick up on these things until everything fell apart. She has a bit of a drinking problem. Not that she drinks constantly, but when she does, she doesn't know her limit. With wedding planning and my busy work schedule to pay for the wedding, she tends to go out on weekends with her girlfriends. Since I'm home late anyway, and she enjoys it, so she deserves to unwind after a busy week. We typically do lunches and overnight trips when my schedule allows it, and when I'm off in the evenings, we make dinner together to connect. She's nitpicked before, but I kind of wrote it off as her personality and always adjusted. For example, she didn't want me running the washer or dryer so much, so I went from twice to once a week. I work 2 jobs, and one is construction, so my clothes get dirty fast. She thought I had too many clothes even though we each have the same storage space, so I donated the clothes she didn't like. She didn't like when I cooked late after coming home from my second job, event staff, so I would pick something up on the way home. I felt like this was regular couple stuff. All in all, she's been excited about the wedding and our new apartment, so I thought everything was good. Long story short, a few weeks ago she came home hammered, which is nothing new, but she got outright mean. I wrote it off as just being drunk. Sometimes she playfully teases me when she's drinking, but when she sobered up, she was still really mean. Her controlling attitude escalated until she was pretty much unbearable, and she ended up telling me she deserved better, that she wanted to start over, and that I needed to leave. She started listing all these weird faults. I don't get along with her friends, who I've never met because they don't live in our country. I don't make an effort with her family. I'm very close to her brother. We game together often, and we have dinner with her parents once a month. And that I'm too dependent on her. I do tend to put her first a lot, but I thought that was normal. Then she basically told me to leave. I gave her some space and slept at my brother's for a few nights, asking him how he thought I should fix this, and that's when he pointed out that she's kind of abusive, so maybe this was a good thing. I don't know. She's still the love of my life, and I can't wrap my head around all this. After a few nights, I went back because I needed more clothes, but also because I wanted to see if we could talk things out. She flat out refused and said her friends all agreed. My issue now is that she is downright hostile. She's nice every so often when she wants something, but otherwise she's short, cold, and often annoyed. She basically said we're done. She's keeping the apartment, and I need to figure it out. Then there was radio silence for a month, outside of a few drunk "I miss you" texts while I couch hopped. The last time I went over to grab clothes, she kissed me and said she wished things could be different and talked about the proposal and all the little things we've done together. I tried to talk it out again, but she got super angry and kicked me out again. Now she's telling me I need to pay half the rent because I'm on the lease. I spoke to the landlord about potentially removing me from the lease, but he said she has to agree, and she's refusing. She's also refusing to agree to sign the lease over to someone else. What can I even do here? My brother pointed out that since I'm on the lease, she can't keep me from staying there, but the apartment is small. Being practically on top of each other, I can't see how it will work with her behavior. She's refusing to even be civil. I asked her to reconsider finding a new tenant, and she basically said she doesn't see why she should have to move just because I couldn't change. My brother said I could make a case for abuse to get off the lease, but I don't want to do that to her. She can be mean, but she's a nice person, and we've been together for 6 years. I just feel like that's a step too far. My mother agrees. I honestly don't think this is abuse. Is this abuse? They're really pushing me to go forward with this, especially after my brother read some texts, but I feel like if I end the tenancy citing abuse, that's dishonest and could further upset her. Now for the top advice before reading the update. She's extremely controlling and abusive. I don't know about Ontario, but where I live, if 2 parties are on a lease, they're both responsible. However, if one person leaves, the other person becomes 100% responsible. Look up the laws where you live. You may be able to just leave and not be responsible. Sorry you're going through this. I hope you can heal from this quickly. She's honestly a nice person. Everyone seems to love her, but I think I'm starting to see our relationship was imbalanced. I've tried looking it up, and it seems that even if I leave, if my name is on the lease, I'm on the hook. The landlord agreed to hand the lease off to someone else, but she's flat out refusing, and I don't get why. If she wants to start over, I'd think starting over in a new place would be what she wanted. It also says I can't change the lease unless she agrees. She sounds exhausting. I didn't feel like she was when we were together, but I'm definitely tired now. Now for the update 2 weeks later, things have kind of snowballed out of control. A day or so after I made the first post, my brother sat me down and discussed a game plan with me. The first thing he told me to do was take the money I had put in our joint account, meant for the wedding, out, since she had access to it and was pretty pissed at me. Not sure why, since she ended things. And I only recently found out it was because she cheated. I had been saving for over a year, sometimes putting in as much as $600 a month, and I also put my Christmas bonus in there. I don't know what I expected to happen after I did that, but things escalated pretty quickly afterward. I had screenshots of how out of control the texts got, but it won't let me add them to this post. The long and short of it was that she was upset I had all but emptied the account, leaving only what she had contributed. She had only put a couple of thousand in because toward the beginning of planning, she decided I should be the one to pay for the bulk of the wedding. Looking back now, I can't believe I agreed. Her argument was that I should have kept all my money in the account to pay for my portion of the rent and that I had stolen from her. She kept calling me a thief, even when I showed her a screenshot of my bank transfers into the account and that I only transferred out that exact amount. She got even more upset because I refused to talk to her in person or answer the phone, so I could have everything we discussed in texts. She had her dad call me, basically telling me to do the right thing, which just meant giving her all the money I'd saved since it was for her anyways. When I refused, she started calling my mother almost nonstop. She would start calling around 9 p.m. and sometimes wouldn't stop until 1 a.m. At first, I told my mom to block her number, but my brother said to just put it on silent so we'd have a record of how often she was calling. One night, she called my mom 36 times. My mother has been having some health issues since my father passed in June, so my sister has been living with her, and the calls obviously made my sister upset. It's a whole thing now. My sister ended up filing a harassment report with the police, and we're hoping that will help me get off the lease if we can prove she's being abusive. She also called both my ex and her father and told them that if they had anything to say, it would go through her. I filled out an N-15 form, but the officer I spoke to about the harassment didn't seem convinced it would be approved because he wouldn't classify this as domestic abuse. I guess I'll just have to cross my fingers and hope for the best. All this definitely showed me who she really is. I didn't think I could fall out of love with someone so quickly. Thanks for all the replies to my initial post. I'd talk to your landlord in person, show the harassment, the escalation, that you need to get out of here, and the only tie left is the lease. You might not legally have a case yet, but if there's good cause, some will work with you. Let them know you physically vacated on whatever date. I spoke to the landlord shortly after the breakup, and he was very clear about my options. Based on how dismissive he was of everything, I don't see that changing unless she agrees to have the lease reassigned to her. I'm glad for you that she ended it. She is one huge red flag. Please work on your self-respect and worth so you don't put up with this again. You may want to see an attorney and make her communicate with them. When does your lease run out? I'm in the process of looking for an attorney. Unfortunately, the lease is until October 2026. Inform your employer first thing Monday about the harassment. Take your evidence, explain what's happening, and that way when she shows up at your job, she can be immediately trespassed. I actually hadn't considered this. Thank you. I'll let both my employers know. Change all your passwords to accounts, apps, emails, everything now. Next story. I, 42 male, am no longer attracted to my wife, 39 female, after a lot of cosmetic surgery. How to move forward? We've been together for 20 years and have a great life together. To me, she has always been the most beautiful woman in the world. I've never so much as looked at another woman, and there wasn't a thing I would change about her. About 5 years ago, she started having Botox, and although I didn't think she needed it, it's her body, her choice. I noticed pretty soon after that her smile changed. Her whole face didn't light up like it did before, and it made her smile look fake and forced, but I didn't say anything, as she seemed happier. Then she asked me what I thought of lip fillers. I told her I didn't like them and that her lips were perfect to me. She had them done anyway, and I'll be honest, I never liked them. It felt horrible when we kissed, like I was kissing another woman. Then it was cheek fillers. Then she had a nose job despite me begging her not to. I know it's wrong because it's her body, but I wasn't looking at my wife anymore. Then she did something with her eyes that made her look like a cat. Her most recent procedure is comically large breasts. She went from a perfect B cup to an F. During this time, she's also gone from 10.5 stone, 147 pounds, down to 8 stone, 112 pounds. Plus, the amount of makeup she wears now is completely different from what it was 5 years ago. I feel awful saying it, but she's not who I got with. I feel like a hypocrite too, because I know I've changed. My hair isn't what it once was, and I obviously look older than when we first got together. I don't know where the need to change came from. She was doing really well in her job. Things were great between us, and she used to have a lot of followers on social media. Just a simple selfie would get her over 1,000 likes, which wasn't something she ever craved. She'd always be a bit embarrassed by it. But now her followers have dropped, and her last selfie barely got any likes. She's suddenly upset over that. I've tried asking her why she's felt the need for all this, and she'll just say she wasn't happy with how she looked, and that in her head, she genuinely thinks she looks better now. I've tried to gently suggest therapy, but that didn't go down too well. She started asking now why I don't want sex as much anymore, and I'm trying to make excuses, like saying I'm tired or just getting older and not in the mood as much. She spoke to me yesterday and said that if something doesn't change in the next month, she wants to open the relationship since we've gone from having sex nearly every day to once a month at most. I actually felt a wave of relief when she said that, which is terrible, I know. I still love who she is, and if it were a choice between staying with her and never having sex again, or losing her and having sex constantly, I'd rather stay with her. My life would be empty without her as a person in it. But what about being attracted to her? Is it something I can train myself to do? Do I just give in and try to force myself to have sex with her? You can definitely dissolve filler, stop the Botox, and remove the implants. The only issue is the cat eye and nose job. But I don't want her to feel like she has to. She's my wife. I should be able to make myself have sex with her. I'm letting her down. Hard no. This is coming from another man here. You should not have to make yourself have sex with anyone, even more so when that person is your wife. Sounds like you need some therapy yourself. I'm already going. This has destroyed me internally. I feel such shame and guilt and grief. I feel like most responses are glossing over the absolute insanity of her dropping an ultimatum that OP has a month before she opens the relationship, i.e. cheats on him. Now, all stories are one-sided, but what I'm reading here is that she gets to do whatever she wants without regard for OP's feelings. But the minute he's not exactly as she wants, she gets to threaten the relationship? I'd be extremely offended if I were treated that way. OP, it sounds like everything is coming to a head here and hitting all at once for you. These are multiple drastic changes that threaten the relationship you thought you had. So you're probably panicking right now and looking for a way to fix the problem, which means you're probably not going to hear what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway so it might at least stick in the back of your mind. I don't think there's anything you can do to fix this, because I don't think this is actually a you problem. You've already articulated that you didn't like these changes. You should certainly engage in open dialogue like other responses are suggesting, but I don't think that will actually fix anything. Something drastic has changed in your wife, and she's already thinking about leaving. Otherwise, she'd never threaten to open the relationship, which, by the way, is not something one member of the relationship can just impose on the other. Whatever crisis she's going through, you don't have the power to fix it. Only she does, and it doesn't seem like she cares to. All you can do right now is focus on being the best you and dealing with the hand you're about to be dealt. Last story. My husband planned an affair on the trip I planned and paid for. I'm 32 female, and my husband is 36 male. We've been married for 2 years and together for 9. Up until yesterday, I thought we were genuinely happy together. A bit of context, we have this thing where I change my name to random things on his phone every few months. They're always funny and over the top. The last one was something like perfect human form. It's just a running joke that's gone on for a few years. So yesterday, he was in the shower and his work phone was out, so I changed my name in his contacts. As I did so, a Snapchat notification came through with an image and the name of a woman he knew back home. He's from another country and moved here, the UK, about 10 years ago. Since it was his work phone, it was really weird, so I clicked on it. It opened into a 5-day streak chat with this woman, with seriously crude texts, photos of both of them, not of their faces, and them planning to meet up when he goes back. Dates, times, locations, and everything. She was even planning on taking a sick day from work. One of his deep pics was taken in our bed while I was in the house. He's booked to go back for a few weeks at the end of November to see a very sick relative. I paid for his flight so he could see them before they passed. I had a panic attack, and he walked out of the shower to see me hyperventilating. I asked him why and how he could do this. He said it was only talking, and that he'd been feeling neglected recently. I asked how, and he said work was stressful, and that he just wanted someone who wanted him for him, and that he doesn't feel like he's ever enough for me. I had no idea. He hadn't mentioned anything, and nothing had changed. A few years ago, I think 3 to 4, when we first moved into our house, he shared that he sometimes didn't feel enough for me. We went to counseling and worked through it. Major effort was made on both our sides to get through it, and I thought we had. The thing is, I know I can be hard work. I'm closer to type A than type B. I'm pretty successful career-wise and not massively touchy-feely. But I'm not closed off, and I've never cared about his job or anything like that. I even supported him for 2 years when he took a career break to try to become an actor. For Pete's sake, he hasn't even paid towards the mortgage in 4 years, because I didn't want him to feel dependent on me or stretch his pay too thin. I don't know why I'm posting or what I expect from this. I just don't know what to do. I've kicked him out for now, but there are major logistics to deal with since I work away and we have 2 dogs. How do I navigate this? I absolutely consider this cheating. How can I make sure I don't let myself forgive him? He's been my life for almost 10 years. I've supported him in every way. Can I end it over a week of messages? How can I not end it after that? Sorry for all the questions. I know this post will probably sit unanswered among the millions of other "I'm so surprised he cheated" stories. But within 24 hours, my happy hard-earned life is in flames, and I'm staring at the wreckage. I would cancel his flight ticket for sure. He's feeling down but not doing anything about it. He's planning to sleep with someone else because his ego was stroked. What about your love and devotion? Yeah, it's difficult, but you can do it. And even if you don't divorce him, think about the fact that he actually needs to prove that he's sorry about what he did, not just because he got caught. If there's no explanation, the trust will never go back to what it was. It happened to me with my husband. Even now, after 7 years, I don't know why he cheated. I don't trust him, and we regularly argue about anything. Cancel his flights and kick him out of the house. You don't need this crap in your life. Did you sponsor his visa and residency into the UK? I didn't. He has citizenship from one of his parents.